all you Splinterheads, welcome back. Bronze Dragon coming at you. Today I was basically working out and I was trying to think of, some new video ideas and such. And whenever I work out every day, I try to work out every weekday for about 45 minutes. I try to catch up on content that other Splinterlands YouTubers and other game YouTubers are putting out. So I can find things that I missed and catch up on news and such that other people are covering. And anyway, I've got several ideas for new videos coming up. But during that time period, I got pinged from Discord on my phone. Matt had dropped the newest Secret of Pretoria release. So I wanted to go ahead and jump on here tonight before catching up with those other ideas in the next few days and go ahead and cover this, which apparently may be the last portion of, it's the fifth and he says it's the fifth and final portion of the Secret of Pretoria Phase 2 white paper release. So let's go ahead and look at it because some of the other ideas of my upcoming videos in the next few days are going to be kind of centered around, hey, what's going on with land? What am I planning on doing with my land in 2024 and such? So let's go ahead and dive in. With that said, if this sounds interesting to you, please consider liking and subscribing the video. It helps out. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump back in here. This section is all about ancient ruins and research. And they go into detail on what this research will involve and what it will cost us, basically. Because when everything boils down here is a lot of this is an extra level of card, DEC, SPS sync, a lot of different things going on here. So let's go ahead and read through here. And I'm not going to read it word for word. I will leave the link in the show notes if you want to go ahead and check this out. If you haven't seen it, it's also in Discord under the news section in Splinterlands. Matt left it there. But I want to go ahead and read through a few of these things and just, kind of leave my opinion on the things. So ancient ruins and the Secret of Pretoria. Basically, the storyline here, and this really goes into why, give it kind of a story flavor of why they would want to have the whole research principle going on. Okay, so they start talking about the runology towers, and as we've discussed this before, it's going to be in 2.0. It's runology tower is going to be a type of building you can build to do research. Versus 1.5, you can choose to do research on any land. In 2.0 and forward, you will have to specifically dedicate a land with a runology tower built on it. And you will have to buy trifoil runes from castle and keep owners to be able to do that research. So that's why kind of the idea is stock up on research now, because it's going to get infinitely more expensive and harder to do once 2.0 comes out. So let's go ahead and run through here. Let's see. Heedless of the warnings, the new crop of explorers on Pretoria have begun the process of unlocking the secrets that have ancient ruins once contained. Holed up in their lairs, which have come to be known as runology towers, the leading scientists and wizards of each territory are diligently studying every clue as to how to begin to reconstruct these massive structures and figure out how to unlock the power they once held. And they need to do it before their rivals in the other territories do, lest the power be used against them. So this pits us against each different region, right? Region versus region. So each of the 7 territories or regions of Pretoria contains an ancient ruins. Players who own land within each territory will cooperate with each other to finish the massive research and construction project to rebuild the ancient ruins and be the first to unlock the Secret of Pretoria. Players can construct a runology tower building on any available plot they own, stake worker cards on it, and provide trifoil runes to earn research points. Now, where you read that, it's kind of misleading. If you own a runology tower building, you don't provide the trifoil runes. You have to buy those trifoil runes from castle or keep owners, like I said a minute ago, and then use them for research points. The more production provided by the worker cards and the higher level the building, the more research points the player can earn per hour. Okay, pretty straightforward. The research points are non-transferable and simply accumulate in players' accounts once the sum of all research points earned from all runology towers in a territory passes a certain threshold. The first phase of the project to reconstruct the ancient ruins in that territory will begin. So that tells me that there's multiple phases here. So we're building in multiple phases of sinks of, DEC, SPS, the staking of cards, etc. So they want this to go on for quite some time and not immediately be able to be finished by a whale relatively quickly. Ancient runes reconstruction. Once the construction phase begins, players will be able to contribute resources and worker cards to help complete the construction. Just like any building construction, the secret project will require a certain amount of production to complete. Any player, I want to highlight this, any player, even those who don't own any land, may stake cards to work on the ancient ruins construction project in any territory, and there is no limit to the number of cards or the amount of production that any player may contribute or that may be contributed in total. So let's step back for a minute and take a thought here. So this opens this up to people who don't even have any stake in land. So if they want to jump in and participate in the land, quote unquote, land game, they can jump in and participate in the ancient ruins reconstruction. And, we'll go over, the next question would be, well, I'm not in land. Why should I even participate in that? What would I get out of it? So that they're going to answer that here in a few minutes. But I just wanted to point that out. So going forward, let's see here. Okay, so one difference here that they point out is you're going to have to use max level cards. You can't use sub-level cards. They've got to be maximum level, maxed out cards. And they state the project, the storyline is the project is too dangerous and difficult for lower level workers. Additionally, worker cards on the Ancient Ruins construction project are not planned to need food or stake DEC in order to provide production. So you can stake your cards to help out, but you're not going to have to worry about staking DEC or the food to contribute for them. So that's one good thing. They will be powered by staked SPS tokens that will be able to be delegated to the project in each territory. More on that below. There are not planned to be any boosts to the production for Ancient Ruins construction or any terrain bonuses or penalties. So all worker cards will contribute their base production rate. So no bonuses, just base production, base PP. In addition to workers, large amounts of various resources will need another sink. It makes sense, but to me, if you're doing research, what kind of materials you need, But with that said, this is another sink that they build into it. In addition to workers, large amounts of various resources will need to be provided in order to complete the construction. The resources will be provided at any time during the construction phase of the project and do not need to be provided all up front like a typical building construction. Once all the resources have been provided and the worker cards have contributed enough production, the construction phase will end and it will go back to the research phase. Once enough research points have been earned in the territory to hit the next threshold, then the next phase of construction will begin. Please note that runology tower buildings will still be producing research even while the construction phase is ongoing. So if enough research has been earned in the territory to reach the next threshold when the current construction phase ends, then the next construction phase will begin right away. So it's basically an ongoing thing, and this tells me that they basically can string this out as long as they want. And this is just like I don't want to say indefinite, but it leads up to they can add as many phases as they want and I guess ultimately the idea is to prop up SPS and try to maintain DEC at peg, right? But once again, on us players, what does this mean? Well, there's more. You're going to have to stake cards. You're going to have to contribute resources in your region if you want to try to help out for the overall good of the region, right? Now, we still haven't heard, what do we get out of this? what are the benefits? They've alluded to the fact that obviously being the first region to uncover the secret is going to be good for the region, but they also start talking about it might take multiple years to get to there. I mean, you could be a person that played in this game for a year and a half or 2 years and never and contributed and never see what comes of it. If you just you forget about it, you decide not to play anymore. There's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts there. So anyway, it is currently unknown how many phases will need to be completed before the ancient ruins are fully constructed and the great secret of Pretoria is unlocked, but scholars estimate that it may take as long as a couple of years before the first territory is able to complete the whole thing. Okay, so I'll stop there. Maybe it's just a couple years for the whole thing, but maybe they do state that each phase may be incremental. In other words, you unlock the first phase and you get a certain bonus or something happens. So you don't have to wait until the full thing is opened up. So maybe each phase might only take a couple months. Who knows at this point? But it's, like I said, it's unknown. So they can throw anything at us that they want. Initial research does indicate there will be smaller but still substantial benefits for completing each phase of the reconstruction project for the players who have contributed. So to me, this really tells me that, and I know there's some people that just take the team at their word and everything. And yeah, I would say that the team was probably going to try to do whatever it takes to make the game as good as possible and not drive off people. But as probably what everybody would call me, a saltmonger or a naysayer, before I throw my money behind something, whether it be card or staked SPS or staked DEC or whatever it takes, I want to know what I'm going to get out of it. Especially when we have several different other layers of costs involved in land, like salt and other things. There's a lot of costs building up here. So I would like to know what I'm going to get out of it before jumping in. I mean, is that asking too much? Obviously, they're still making this stuff up as it comes along, but it's a lot of costs that we have to think about. Okay, next section, SPS staking. As mentioned above, worker cards on the Ancient Ruins reconstruction project are planned to be powered by players delegating staked SPS tokens to the project in each territory. Okay, so this is another cost. So now players are going to be able to stake SPS to the Ancient Ruins reconstruction project in different territories, which we kind of touched on a few minutes ago, but that's another cost. It's also another way to invest if you see fit, if you want to say that. Any player, whether or not they own any land in the territory, will be able to delegate their staked SPS to the Ancient Ruins reconstruction project in that territory and earn the requisite rewards. So we're hitting another situation where you have to figure out what to do with your staked SPS. Do I want to send it towards the Ancient Ruins reconstruction project? Do I want it on my account for my play benefit? Do I want to go to... And then there's a few different other things that is in the future that the staked SPS is going to need to be used for. So you have to figure out, and there's not infinite. I mean, I guess if you're a rich guy, there's really not an infinite amount of SPS. I mean, I'm just barely getting to a 9 to 10 plus 10 on my play on my account. I can't imagine having to throw in, $3,000 or $4,000 more on all these different other situations. But I guess everybody's got their own call on that. Okay. Let's see, the amount of production contributed by the worker cards on the project in each territory will receive a multiplier based on the amount of staked SPS delegated to the project in that territory. The formula is planned to be similar to the ones currently used for reward points for ranked battles, where more staked SPS delegated will always increase the multiplier, but with diminishing returns. Contribution score. Okay, so we asked earlier, well, what does all this lead to? What am I getting out of this? Besides, ultimately the idea is to uncover the secret of Pretoria and lead to like what it appears to be multiple layers of bonuses for your region. What else is there? Say for instance, I'm a person that I just don't play land, but I would like to contribute on a few of these different things, help out, but also get something out of it for myself. What do I get? So that's what they're answering here, contribution score. All contributions to the Ancient Ruins Reconstruction Project, including research tokens, resources, delegated staked SPS, and production from worker cards, will provide varying amounts of contribution scores. Score, CS, another acronym to keep track of. Relative to the value of each type of contribution, this will create a single number that represents the total contribution to the project in each territory by each player. The Ancient Ruins are the only source of gemstones on Praetoria and will also be the primary source of totem fragments. Okay, let's just take a minute and look over here at what gemstones are for. So I looked this up in one of the other sections of the white paper. The primary use for gemstones will be crafting of item and spell cards. So this is a necessary item for the end game of land, which is producing item and spell cards. There will be 6 types of gemstones corresponding to the 6 card elements. So diamond, emerald, ruby, sapphire, onyx, and amethyst. Players can get gemstones by contributing to the Ancient Ruins reconstruction effort. Gemstones can then be refined in lapidary building. Refined gemstones will have 4 possible quality levels corresponding to the 4 card rarities: dull, bright, gleaming, and brilliant. The higher level the lapidary, the higher the chances of producing higher quality refined gemstones. Please note that refined gemstones will be non-divisible, precision 0, meaning that players must always have a whole number balance of them. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not like 1.5 or whatever. So what this tells me is that there's an option here that, let's go back over here, that if you want to build a building on, build a lapidary on a plot of land, and you want to go wholesale into make your business producing gemstones, then you could get yourself a lapidary going, and then you could contribute enough, staked cards, staked SPS, and things like that to get your contribution score up, produce gems, and a byproduct, maybe totem fragments as well, is what they just said. And then gems be really your main product out of the game, out of the quote unquote land game. Of course, if you had other lands, you could also take those and combine them with different things and produce your different item and spell cards. But you could just be a gem producer if you wanted to. And this is really the first time, I mean, they've announced this, but they've gone into more detail about how you would boost up your contribution score, right? And we can take a look at that in the future. But I think that's a whole nother way to look at the land game, just going in for a contribution score instead of maybe, doing the whole thing where you're buying multiple plots and staking them out and everything like that. Just a different way to go about it. The more contribution score a player earns by contributing to the project, the more chances they will have to find gemstone and or totem fragment. So this is a random thing. Additionally, contribution score will be used to determine players' position on the leaderboard within the territory and the whole continent for the purposes of earning prefix titles. So I'm going to kind of retract my thing here. It says, so this seems like gemstones will be a random thing. I don't know. We'll need further information on that, because if it's a random thing, then you will have to have more land plots to be able to do your claims to possibly get that drop, kind of like totem fragments work now. I don't know. We'll see. But we definitely need more information on that. And they round this out. At the completion of each phase of reconstruction, including the final phase, when the secret is unlocked, the rewards that players receive will be relative to their contribution score as compared to other players' contribution scores in the territory. Okay, so basically if you put in more, then you stand to reap more, which is logical, right? People that sit back and don't contribute a lot can't expect to get a lot of, gemstones, extra totem fragments, and whatever else this leads to. So, and I haven't read any of the comments yet on this, but it's interesting. It's a whole nother layer of costs. It's a whole nother layer of sinks. So no matter how you feel about that, it's, I guess ultimately it's to prop up the values of, DEC and SPS. I'm kind of on the fence. There's so many money sinks. Let's just put it blankly or put it flatly. There's just so many costs involved here that I really have to stand back and look at what I'm going to spend my money on and what I'm not going to spend my money on. But with that said, I hope your holidays have went well, and I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy. And I will see you on the flip side.